The success of learning processes largely on strategies adopted by the teacher. Often teachers use rewards and punishment to guide learners. Behaviors and learning process itself. The theory of behaviorism is summed up with the belief that learners' behaviors is a product of stimulus-response interactions. Essentially, the theory assumes that learners are inherently passive, and their behavior changes and responses are influenced largely by external stimuli. In essence, the learners are a learning environment with a clean slate, and only positive and negative behavior shape their overall behavior. The main strengths of behaviorism is that it is based on observable behaviors, which makes calculations easier and more tenable. Even so, as teachers, we should understand that theory has been criticized by being an excessive one-dimensional approach to understanding human behavior, mainly because it disregards internal influences and free will. Firstly, behaviorism concerns solely with the observable and measurable aspect of human behavior, and not unseen issues, such as a personal belief system. Cognitive on emotions tells us that theory reasons the learning is a realistic product of the effects of rewards and punishment on behavior. Simply put, teachers use reinforcements and punishments to increase and decrease the possibility of an event happening again. I will provide an example to explain this. Let us assume a classroom where a student, Mark, is very problematic. He does not do his homework, and when he attempts, they are often unfinished. Also, he acts out in the classroom, making jokes frequently at the teacher's expense. The teacher is at a crossroads and has no idea on how to handle Marks professionally. However, the teacher can apply behaviorism theory aspects to Mark's situation. Firstly, he may use rewards to increase the good behavior. Hence, if Mark enters the classroom, settles quietly without disturbing the other students, the teacher gives him a candy, which reinforces the positive behavior and encourages Mark to settle quietly in the classroom more often. On the other hand, punishment reduces negative behaviors. Hence, if Mark does not finish the homework, the teacher asks him to bring his parents with him to reduce the chances of unfinished homework the next time. Correspondingly, the learning process in behaviorism incorporates four main aspects, which are continuity in stimulus, response, and expression. Continuity is the interaction between two similar events, which may happen rapidly at the same time. In the other case, Mark's unfinished homework and classroom disruptions in the continuity. Further, stimulus is an environment event in or condition that activates the student's senses, which may relate to the candy in our case. The student's response is an observation action, which is often a direct result of the stimulus. Perhaps it is also to mention prominent people who developed the theory of behaviorism. First, Ivan Pavlov conducted the experiment with the dog, which led to the theory of classic conditioning. In addition, B.F. Skinner came up with the theory of operant conditioning, which emphasizes the use of consequences to influence the happening of or from the behavior. First, the main strength of this theory is that it is possible to reproduce outcomes experimentally, as is in this case Skinner's experiment. With the desired response in mind, teachers use specific reinforcements to enforce positive behavior or hinder a negative one. The main weakness of operant conditioning is it is, as a result, diminishes human conduct. Simply put, deliberate attempt to influence or force someone to change their behaviors using external stimulus may deny the students their free will or own personal agency. Furthermore, the behaviorism theory is based solely on the observation behavior, which forms the basis of classroom conditioning. Classic conditioning is a pairing of a neutral reason with a stimulus that causes an involuntary response, and often the response is marked by observational behaviors. Even so, the main limitation here is that the theory does not account for others from or learning, which may happen without punishment or reinforcements. As a teacher, we understand that some behaviors are controlled by the individual, or rather the student himself. Yet behaviorism assumes that external factors are the primary determinants of the learning behaviors. It is my personal belief that learning happens only when teachers transpire, and learners should be free to utilize self-productive and creative thinking. However, standing on the student's way are personal and environmental issues that may make them to encourage in unwinding behaviors, either knowingly or unknowingly. I believe that many of our students' behaviors are controllable, which makes behaviorism theory an ideal one for the classroom. Specifically, the use of reinforcements, which choose appropriately, while certain encouragements students to enhance on their good behaviors more often. Therefore, teaching the learning is more interactive and productive when I, as a teacher, controls limits and eliminates negative students' behaviors which cause only distractions. In sum, I recommend that teachers should embrace the behaviorism theory because it limits the limitations negative students' behavior while encouraging positive ones. At the same time, I strongly believe in an idea of an inspired life and learning, all of which are possible only when the teacher inspires positive behaviors and discourages negative ones. Whichever the case, and either with rewards or punishments, teachers will always encourage their students to do good behaviors more often.